Hello, I'm Crystal, and thank you so much for joining me on the Warrenist Live today, where we celebrate the art, culture, lifestyle, and people of Warren County, North Carolina, and beyond. And we also keep the community informed about what's taking place in this area. Before we get started, be sure to like, comment, share all that good stuff with all your friends to let people know about everything that's going on. Our guests today are Dr. Forrest Toms and Dr. Tanya Ayscue, the CEO and COO, respectively, of the North Carolina Resources and Engagement Group, LLC. They are amongst the speakers for a community engagement forum about helping educate and empower minority-owned businesses this Friday, July 23rd, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., and Saturday, July 24th, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Warren County Memorial Library in Warrenton, North Carolina. So welcome to the Warrenist Live, Dr. Thompson and Dr. Ayscue. How are you all doing today?
Doing great. How are you doing?
Well, yes.
Doing good. I'm doing good. Ready for the weekend. Yeah. So let's start off by just introducing yourselves. Dr. Toms, let's start with you.
Okay. Well, my name is Forrest Toms, and I'm from Western North Carolina, a place called Shelby. I am a developmental psychologist by training, and also worked as a school clinical psychologist and all that. I did my early work at Middle Tennessee State University, but PhD out of Howard University, the Mecca. Okay, even though I spent about 10 years at North Carolina A&T State University on the PhD program on leadership studies, which is where I met Dr. Ayscue as one of my students there. We created a whole minor degree in leadership and community and civic engagement, which Dr. Ayscue was part of, and a whole team. And as a result of that work, we produced a book called The Guide. And it's the result of the guide that's kind of brought us to Warren County, looking at data on African American populations in about 20 counties, 10 in the east and 10 around the state. So that kind of gives you a background from teaching and working as a school psychologist, and now CEO of NCREG.
All right, and we'll discuss that in a little bit more detail later. Okay, yes. Dr. Ayscue?
Yes, again, my name is Dr. Tanya Ayscue, and as you mentioned, I am a native of Warren County. I grew up right there in the Snow Hill community, and I come back to Warren County often to participate in some of the local festivals that you guys have, because I'm also not only am I from Warren County, and not only am I a member or consultant or COO for NCREG, but I also have two other businesses that I own. And so one is Essential Face and Body. So many of the Warren County citizens have stopped by my booth at the African American Festival when I was down the last time that there was a festival, and you included. And then I also own TDA Services, which is a consulting company here in Raleigh, North Carolina, where I help small businesses with their infrastructure, their just overall process improvements, and help them build and grow their businesses. So again, that's just a little bit about me.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so you both talked about that you attended HBCUs.
Oh,
so,
yes. And so, I'm a twice graduate of an HBCU. So I graduated with my undergraduate degree from North Carolina A&T State University, Aggie Pride. And then as Dr. Thompson, I received my doctoral degree from North Carolina A&T State University. So yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So since you both attended HBCUs, was there a reason why you chose to go to those respective schools to pursue your education?
Yeah. Well, for me, I chose Howard for a number of reasons because of its history. But Crystal, at the time that I got to Howard, probably in, I don't know, maybe 81, 82, they had just brought in the top 5 Black psychologists in the country. And all of them were under 35. They had gotten their PhD for many before, about 23, 24, 25. When I got there, I was 28. So it was like, as my grandma would say, it was like hog heaven. When you're just there with all of this knowledge and everything. Then you look at the history of Howard as a social justice leader. all the way back to the early psychology. One of the people that taught me, he was the fourth person to get a PhD in psychology in the US. So that's what you get when you go back and you're in HBCUs. And then you get the rich culture of nurturing and being in a space where everybody looked like you. And Howard, the average GPA coming in, the GPA was something like 3.78. Yeah, I'm like, so everybody around you, right? So that's the beauty. Even going back teaching, to be able to have access to someone like Dr. Ayscue and all the skills she brought to the table in terms of business experience and everything. That's the beauty of HBC, and nurture that.
Yeah, so for me, I can be very candid. My mama said, "You going A&T." So it was not my choice. It was her directive that I would be attending North Carolina A&T State University. And my brother was there also at the time. So I think she wanted me to make sure, go to a place where she felt like that, you know, I would be nurtured and protected and that I would grow and still be close to home. And so, but, you know, like Dr. Tom said, when I got there, I realized that there was a very small, engaging culture. The type of experience that you have when you attend an HBC was like none other, especially when you go back to some of the homecomings and some of the local events and just the lifelong friendships that you develop while you're at that university. I still have friends that I met my freshman year, and we're still friends today. And so you cannot get anything better than those relationships that you develop when you and also the relationships that you develop with the teachers, because you have that one-on-one relationship and opportunity to have that nurturing from those professors that are there. And they are actively engaged in your life and want to know and help you grow as a
true. There's really nothing like it. Yeah. Yes. So let's talk about the organization, NCREG. So can you tell us about what the organization, I tell you, I'm ready for the weekend. Tell me about what the organization is about, what you provide, what's your goals. Can you tell us about that?
So I'll turn it over to you, to Dr. Thomas, but, you know, I'll start and I'll let him finish if that's okay. So, you know, it's about empowering the community. It's about making sure that minorities and people of color are represented in community engagements. We definitely, as a matter of fact, that's one of the reasons why we're coming into Warren County this weekend. But we're not coming just as NCREG, we're coming as a whole part of a hub coalition that, you know, we'll talk a little bit about that later on, but, you know, it really is to help empower our minority communities and get them engaged. So Dr. Thomas, did you want to add anything else to that?
Oh, no, I think you hit it on the head. And it's kind of like, it's a process that we see that there is need. And one of the ways we saw the need by looking at data and see what the data was telling us about the distribution of resources. And remember, these resources we're talking about are tax dollars, right? And the question becomes, are they equally distributed? And I think that's one of the things we want to make sure that people understand. We're able to take data and make it real and put it in the context of community, say, what does this mean for the community? So part of it is looking at how our organizations, what they're doing in terms of school systems and county commission, but also I think a point that we need to make of why it's so important. We need to create synergy in our community, energy around how can we create our own reality? What are some of the needs that we have? One of those big issues and big needs are the disparities in the distribution of resources to minority businesses and support. And the other one would be, I would say, the whole need for communities to come together and begin to work to address those issues along with their elected officials and others. And that's the whole point of this weekend. And Dr. Ayscue can tell you, she's been in before over the last few months to meet with the school system, meet with the county commissions. So this is the third leg of that phase. And we had to have this leg because it is, in fact, the community.
Right.
That's right.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And you talked about minority business. For those who don't know, what constitutes a minority-owned business?
So when it comes to hub, if I give you the definition that's considered a historically underutilized business, a minority business is anything that's not white, just to be blunt. So if you're Asian American, African American, Native American, people with disabilities, that's considered a minority-owned business. So, and then with the definition for the historically underutilized businesses, you have to be at least 51% owner of that business. And so you can be in any of those categories. You can be Black women owned is also considered a minority business. So Asian American, Native American, people with disabilities. So there are several areas that make up that, but those are kind of the gist of it. So basically, own 51% of the company to become a hub, considered historically underutilized business owner. But a minority business is anyone that is not a white business owner.
Okay, so you touched on it briefly in your introductions, but you're both minority-owned businesses. You have businesses,
right?
Can you talk about them just a little bit?
So again, the first business is TDA Services, which is my consulting company. It's here in Raleigh, North Carolina. I work with small businesses, helping them really set up their businesses as one thing. And now I've taken on the also responsibility of helping them get certified. So if a minority business owner wants to become hub certified, because I believe that if you're a small business, you should have a seat at the table. You should be able to apply for and bid for some of these contract opportunities that are coming forth. I do help them with their hub packages, or help them get started. I help them set up their infrastructure. I help them basically with their processes, and look at their processes and make sure that they are ready and have set themselves up and to be successful. So on the flip side, I have Essentials Face and Body, which is the business that I use my creative side of the brain, where I go and I mix and make body butter, sugar scrubs, bath salts, hair butter, and I use a lot of essential oils and all natural products in my products, all natural ingredients in my products. So those are the two businesses. And then, of course, as a founding member of North Carolina Research and Engagement Group, LLC, which is NCREG, I help run the day-to-day operations. Dr. Thomas gives me a new title every week.
I do. I guess so. I do.
So one day I'm vice president of administration, the next day I'm vice president of hub advocacy. So I wear many hats within that organization. And I'm the only female that sits on the board currently.
Right. And you say, wow, sister got skills. And the title changed, but the skill sets keep expanding. That's what's impressive. Now, for me, I am also I'm a co-owner in another business, One Step at a Time Consulting LLC, and it is a consulting firm. We work in the area of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and we're all over the East Coast doing stuff with school systems, mental health, with community colleges, as well as community-based, where we work with the whole chronic disease and injury division. And I've been doing that for a number of years, about 10, 11 years. And prior to that, I own my own company, Training Research Development, that did work. And now we evolved with our team that started at North Carolina A&T in our classes. Now we evolved into creating the North Carolina Research and Engagement Group, and which we plan to work with entities from county government, city government, school systems, foundations, and all, being able to identify what we would call culturally relative data points about the quality of life of African American people, and then taking that information and being able to package it in a way that we can move it towards also policy and action and resource distribution.
Okay. And so during the community engagement forum that's this Friday and Saturday, there'll be a discussion about like government contracts and bidding, and I'll be the first one to say I have no idea how any of that works. So if you could just talk about that a little bit, or the people who will be involved.
Yeah, sure. I'm excited to tell you that. So now we have, because I'm not an expert in those areas, we do have partners that are a part of the Hub Coalition. So, for example, we have the North Carolina Department of Transportation that will be on site. We have the Historically Underutilized Business Office, or the NCDOA. So, North Carolina Department of Administration, Historically Underutilized Business is a long title office. They will be on site to help educate our small businesses about what it takes to educate them about the Hub certification process, and about what historically underutilized businesses mean and how it got started. It started back in 1999 as a statute that was basically to give minority businesses an opportunity to bid on some of these contracts, because, as you know, women are not only disadvantaged when it comes to salaries, but also as a business owner, when it comes to opportunities to bid on some of these contracts. So the North Carolina Department of Transportation will be there to talk about it on a federal level, any federal contracts, what it requires to bid on some of these contracts at a federal level. But they also have some hub level contracts that are available, so they should be on site to tell the small businesses what types of contracts they have available, and to kind of help them look at opportunities to be able to bid on some of those contracts. So that's what I'm really most excited about as it relates to the small business owners, because this will be a forum where they can come and have a face-to-face opportunity to meet with not only the Hub office, but the director of the Hub office, who will help them get the right resources, or connect them to the right resources, help them with their paperwork, to get them certified. But then the Department of Transportation will also come in on the back end and say, okay, these are some of the other opportunities for if you're bidding on a federal contract as a prime or as a subprime. So meaning that if you have an opportunity to bid on the contract and you don't have all the resources available, you can be the prime, but I can bring in Dr. Thompson and his other company as a subprime. So if there was an opportunity to do some consulting for mental health, for example, or diversity and inclusion, and I don't have those skills in my business, I can engage Dr. Thompson, his company, as a subprime on that contract to deliver those services as a part of the overall engagement opportunity. So this is some of the things that I hope that they will be able to share with the community, and so that to empower them so that they can take advantage of some of those opportunities. So that's really about as I mentioned, we didn't mention it, but the theme for the weekend is for this community engagement is connecting communities through education, engagement, and empowerment. And so, as Dr. Thomas mentioned earlier, I came in and spoke to the school board about the disparities of the Hub distribution dollars for our minority businesses in Warren County. I came and then I spoke to the county commissioner's office. And so, as he mentioned, this is the third leg now. We want this community engagement forum so we can provide this information, provide the resources to the citizens and the small business owners, and then that hopefully will empower them to make some decisions to help make a change, because we know that Warren County is one of the poorest counties in the state. And so, as a citizen from Warren County, my parents are still there, my family members are still there, my home is there, and that's what will be my resting place. I do want to see my community grow, and I want to see jobs. I want to see the small business owners grow. I want to, because if I look at the Hub certified businesses in North Carolina, and Warrenton specifically, Warren County, there are only 10. And so there are so many opportunities for our citizens in North Carolina, specifically our small businesses. As I know, I read in the Daily Dispatch in Henderson that Warren County is getting ready to consider building a new school system. So there's plenty of opportunities for some of my small businesses to get certified so that they can bid on some of these contracts. They're going to need HVAC people. They're going to need lawn and garden people to take care of the gardens. They're going to need people to come in, plumbers. They're going to need all types of skill sets. But, this will give them an opportunity to get ready for anything that's coming down the pipe. And so I think the Department of Transportation can help us identify some of those contracts that are coming so that our citizens can get ready. And as Dr. Thomas mentioned, it's a collaborative, it's a multi-regional collaborative. We want our communities, our surrounding communities, to be engaged because we can partner with them. But yeah, this is the time is now. And then so I know that I'm probably taking up too much of their time, but this feeds into
You
the
good?
speaker for the American Rescue Plan, Parker Martin, who's from the Budget and Tax Center, who's also one of our partners for the Hub Coalition. He's going to be live video coming in because he can't make it, but he's going to talk about the American Rescue Plan. He's going to talk about how those tax dollars are allocated to North Carolina, specifically to Warren County. Warren County is getting $3.8 million. So how are they going to spend the money to help their minority businesses in the county? And so this is where we want our citizens and citizens of Warren County to come in and help give them a seat at the table to help the elected officials make the right decisions that's going to help empower them.
That's wonderful. I think you answered like my next 3-4 questions.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You can see my passion. I got on the roll. I'm sorry.
No, you are perfectly fine. Trust me, you are perfectly fine.
Look,
But,
Chris, I was gonna say what she said.
Right, like co-sign. Exactly. But you did touch on some of the agencies. What are some of the other agencies, organizations that you're partnering with?
So the North Carolina Black Alliance is partnering. They're also part of the Hub Coalition. That's a part of this big coalition that we have. I mentioned the North Carolina Budget and Tax System, which is part of the Justice System Center. We also have, like I said, the North Carolina DOA Department of Hub that's going to be there, Department of Transportation, NCREG, and then we have the North Carolina MWBE Minority Women Business Enterprise Coordinators Network. They're also a partner. Dr. Thomas mentioned One Step at a Time is also consulting, is also a partner, and the Institute North Carolina and the Rural Center are also partners. But I also want to mention that Charlotte Duncan from the Economic Development Office is definitely a partner in this. And when I came into Warrenton to present, she was eager and excited about partnering with us on this opportunity. So they are allowing us and providing us the venue for us to have this. So I just want to make sure that I recognize Charlotte and the school systems, Warren County Public School System, Board of Education, and the Warren County Commissioners for allowing us to come back and have this engagement forum. So.
Right, it's absolutely wonderful. I'm sorry, did she say everything you need to say, Dr. Tom?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hey, what she said. Okay. Look, that's the beauty. That's the beauty of our team and our members. Everybody got serious skill sets. We don't all need to be talking at the same time. And when she say I give her a different time, that's why she can't. But and look, Krista, in all fairness, this kind of flow and discussion and the level of discussion. That's what we got to have more. It's the persistence and the consistency of the dialogue that provides the fuel to change. And right now, we don't have any fuel. Therefore, there's no energy and synergy in our community. We have to create the energy and the synergy for the movement to occur. And that's what we're trying to do this weekend. Create that space for the dialogue to occur. And, no change comes without new information. That's it. You can talk about the old things and the same thing all you want to, but as soon as you begin to insert new information, boom, it's like a flower. There's the blossoming. And where we are, where Warren is, you know what that blossoming means? It means Vance, it means Granville, it means Washington, all of those around, because you look at the data, we look very similar. That's why our regional frame and a regional view is so important.
Right. And she co-signs.
She got it.
Absolutely.
She co-signed it. She told me I can say that,
okay. Okay, but just again, I want to mention that the Community Engagement Forum is Friday, July 23rd, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and Saturday, July 24th, 10 a.m. to noon at the Warren County Memorial Library here in Warrenton. It is free and open to the public, but there is limited seating. Now, with the two different programs, is it like a part 1 or a part 2, or is it just a continual, like how is that structured?
So it's going to be replicated because we weren't sure how many people were going to come Friday versus Saturday because we know people have busy lives. So we wanted to make sure that the same information was shared. Now it would be shared in different formats. For example, some of our speakers may not be there on Friday, but they will be coming live via Zoom. But then they will be there on Saturday and vice versa. But the thing, definitely, I want the citizens to know that on Saturday, that's when they can talk to the hub office directly. The Department of Transportation will be there both Friday and Saturday. It's just that some of the speakers may be on Zoom Friday and maybe live on Saturday or vice versa. But we will have refreshments and we hope to see everybody there.
All right, awesome. And then just one more question for you, Dr. Ayscue. You mentioned it several times that you are from Warren County.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to put that out there some more. Now, how do you feel like being from this area has propelled you to be the person that you are today?
So I think about Warren County, it's a very small county. It's a very close-knit county. Everybody knows everybody. So I'm pretty sure that most people, if any of that's listening, probably know who my parents are. And my parents are very active in the community. And so I grew up watching my parents work hard. My dad, every year, even to today, he works at the voting precinct every year. So he's there all day, every day, during voting season. So he's there. The NAACP, they're very active in their class reunion. So they're always planning for their, planning things for the community and giving back and scholarships. So I think that's where I got my passion for community service and community engagement. Obviously, I grew up in Snow Hill Baptist Church in the choir as an usher, and she has me very grounded in making sure that I'm community focused. But also I grew up in a village, where everybody around you, if you got in trouble, they had the authority.
Right.
That authority was right. And so I grew up in that environment. And so obviously much love and much respect for not only the community leaders, a lot of them are no longer here, but I still grew up with a lot of mentors and people who reared me as a child. And, we still have that same community feel and relationship today. So.
Okay, it's beautiful. I'm sorry.
I would say what our desire and goal is in Warren County is to create those trails of capacities that produce Dr. Tanya Ayscue. That's what. How do we clean off those trails, expand those trails, connect people and organizations to produce the next generation of Dr. Tanya Ayscue coming back home. That's what our goal is.
That's beautifully stated. That's wonderful. I love it. Okay, so again, I wanted to say again, the Community Engagement Forum is Friday, July 23rd, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and Saturday, July 24th, 10 a.m. to noon at the Warren County Memorial Library in Warrenton. Is there anything else you would need to add?
I just look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow. Just come out and, bring your questions, bring your packages if you want to become certified, but mostly bring your questions to be able to be ready to engage in a dialogue about what it is that you need and how we can help you, because that's really what it's all about. It's about understanding what the needs of the community are so that we can put programs in place to help them achieve those goals.
Okay. Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Towns and Dr. Ayscue. I look forward to learning more about what's going on. How can I take part in helping getting the word out? I hope this does help.
Yes, thank you so much.
And thank you for the opportunity to speak, to be here on the Warrenist Live today. If you have any other questions about what's going on in Warren County, like, follow, subscribe to the Warrenist. I'm here on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. I'm just about everywhere. So
I follow you on Instagram. I do follow you on Instagram.
I follow you too. you all so much for tuning in. And I will see you all soon. Have a
Thank you
wonderful
so
day.
much. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye bye.